Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Radco. It's been a little while. I'm James Alvarado, and today I want to do a review of Chelsea Wolfe's new record, Abyss. Chelsea Wolfe is a singer-songwriter most recently based out of California, and her music is really hard to pin down into one specific genre, but it's got elements of folk, drone, metal, doom, goth rock, even some trip-hop, although when I say that I'm talking Portishead more so than I am Tricky. And even though she applies and uses some of these different genres and styles in her music, some more so than others at different times in her discography, her music consistently has a dark, bleak, and brooding quality to it. She gave us her debut, Mistaken Parting, back in 2006, but landed on my radar with her release of Apocalypsis in 2011. That album saw her add some instrumentation that I felt really complemented her voice well, and I just found myself really enjoying that album. If you like bands like True Widow or Codeine, Earth, maybe even Cloakroom, I'd say you'd find something you'd enjoy on that record. She followed that up with another really solid one, Pain is Beauty, which saw her experiment with even more sounds, a lot more electronics, and that album just really had some gorgeous textures on it. I really enjoyed that as well. And getting back to Abyss though, you've still got that dark, melancholy POV here, but there's just still more sounds on this record. It's really impressive how much is going on sonically at times on this thing. And the theme or atmosphere of this record really reminds me a lot of this collaboration that Boris and Sun put out a while back called Alter. On it there's this song called Sinking Bell, and that thing just had a perfect way of capturing the title, Sinking Bell, being trapped in a bell that's just falling to the bottom of the sea, capturing the terror of that, while also being extremely beautiful and kind of awe-inspiring, just a haunting track. And that track alone makes that record worth checking out, so go do that if you get a chance. But if you take that aesthetic or that atmosphere of that track and spread it out over across an album, that's what I feel like we've got here with Abyss. The album starts off with 3 pretty intense tracks, the first of those being one of the singles off the album, Carry On Flowers. And on first listen I was like, are we getting a slowed down Run the Jewels cover here or something? And I'm kidding, but it's got this pumping synth or heavily effects-driven bass part at the intro that reminds me a lot of the instrumentation on that track Blockbuster Night Part 1 off the last RTJ record. And moving on from that, the track has an almost industrial feel to it, and Chelsea's voice comes in with the familiar reverb, sounding great as usual, and it eventually leads to this hushed, airy, atmospheric sounding rest, and then from there the track just pounds you until the end. I also want to mention that it features a contributing guitar part, this song as well as a few others on this album, from Mike Sullivan of Russian Circles. And I'm pretty happy to see that because Chelsea contributed to the title track off of Russian Circles' last record, Memorial. And I really liked the way that track came out. I enjoyed that album as well as that song quite a bit. So I'm pretty happy to see the two collaborating here again. The next track, Iron Moon, has some huge guitar and bass tones going on in it. I love the way Chelsea's voice sounds during the hook, the chorus of this track. Definitely one of the highlights of this record for me. Then we've got the song Dragged Out, which, aside from containing some more really awesome guitar tones on it, works this quiet, loud dynamic that I feel really starts to paint the picture of the theme of sleep paralysis that Chelsea was working with on this record. Then we get a little rest with the track Ma, and although it's got some really nice drum sounds in the middle, that track really wasn't doing much for me, although it does have some pretty haunting sounds going on in the background at times. And speaking of some great drum sounds though, the next track, Gray Days, I think is a total 180. I love the way that song turned out. The drums make that song sound so tense and just have this uneasy feeling about it. Later on the record are the tracks Simple Death and Color of Blood, which I feel highlight an almost poppy aspect to Chelsea's sound here. With Simple Death, it almost sounds like it could be a slowed down St. Vincent song. And maybe we can chalk that one up to John Congleton, who produced this and worked with St. Vincent on her last record. But I think he has a knack for always getting some really great textures out of the artists he works with. And, this album's no exception. You can throw in the track Survive as well there with the way they captured the finger-picked guitar on that one. Her vocals there, too, are just another thing that you can just latch onto on that one and just follow it the whole song. And then with the track Color of Blood, if that track was sped up and given a 4-to-the-floor beat, I think it would be a straight-up pop song. And I think that speaks to the way Chelsea approaches her songwriting. Even though she's using these harsh sounds and some really heavy instrumentation at times, she's always writing in a way that, catches your ear, makes you want to listen, still has a hook in it. The album closes on the title track, Abyss, which, if you've got this up and down of this entire record, this song is definitely ending things on a down. And for all of its understated instrumentation, it's still a pretty harsh track. And if the rest of the record didn't convince you how bleak things are, this song definitely does. I think this is another really solid installment in the band's discography. And aside from a few lulls and some parts that got a little bit too repetitive for me, she still utilizes so many different sounds and takes from so many different genres and uses them effectively here again. And so I'm feeling an 8 to an 8.5 on this thing. I'm really enjoying digging into this thing and exploring all of the soundscapes and the atmosphere of this album, as well as the theme. There's some really powerful stuff here. So what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. You can email me at contact@radcompany.com. We're at radco on almost all social media. And yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.